all fired up. One autumn, the weather was more hot and dry than usual. It made work difficult, especially for Gordon. One morning he was feeling particularly miserable.
This heat isn't treating me well,
he grumbled to the others.
I feel all stuffed up.
Is it gremlins?
Suggested Percy.
Maybe he's just afraid of crashing through another wall.
James grinned. Gordon scowled.
Shut up! Not funny.
I think it's the coal,
said Edward.
Are you sure you're fit for work today, Gordon?
Despite how he felt, Gordon was determined.
Yes, Edward. Just 'cause you sit around all day doesn't mean that I have to.
Gordon rumbled onto the turntable and away. As he left, he started coughing and black smoke came from his funnel. Edward winced. To cut down on costs, the railway board had purchased a new supply of coal, but it was worse than usual, and Gordon was getting the brunt of it.
I'm going too slow,
wheezed Gordon as he puffed along the line. He was going so slow, in fact, that James was able to pull alongside him.
A loco faster than the express!
He laughed.
Who would have thought?
James whistled and continued onwards, overtaking poor Gordon. Gordon gnashed his teeth.
I'll show that James,
he spluttered and surged forwards. His driver, caught off guard, held onto the side of the cab.
Stop it, Gordon!
He called.
If you press on like this, you'll damage yourself.
But Gordon didn't care. All he cared about was overtaking James. Gordon was working so hard that sparks flew from his funnel and fell on a patch of dry grass beside the line. Almost instantly, it caught fire. The fire grew quickly, and Gordon's driver could see it chasing after the train.
Faster, Gordon! Faster!
cried the driver.
Oh, so now you want me to go faster?
Grunted Gordon. Then Gordon saw the fire and decided to take his driver seriously.
Orders!
He shouted and tried to accelerate. The fire came closer to the brake coach, causing the passengers to become anxious. Gordon coughed and wheezed, but at last he puffed out of the way of the fire, making it to the next signal box.
Call the fire brigade!
The driver called to the signalman.
Quickly, now!
The signalman didn't need telling twice. He could see the smoke from his signal box and telephoned the fire brigade at once. Luckily, they came in time to stop the fire from getting worse, and before long, it was put out. When Gordon got back to the sheds that evening, Sir Topham Hatt was waiting for him.
I know the fire wasn't your fault, Gordon,
he said.
But I'm afraid you can't pull the express until we get this coal situation sorted out.
But, sir,
protested Gordon.
Who will pull the express?
I could do it,
put in James smugly.
I'm sure everyone would like to see a splendid engine pulling it for once.
Gordon glared.
That's enough, James,
Sir Topham Hatt said sternly.
Well, Gordon has it the worst. All of you steam engines have the same risk. We can't afford to have another fire. Someone could get seriously hurt.
James and Gordon glanced at each other.
Beg pardon, sir,
pondered Duck.
But does that mean a diesel will pull the express?
Yes, Duck. Boco shall take the express until we can get a new supply of proper coal.
With that, Sir Topham Hatt walked away. Gordon was most upset.
My express going to diesel.
That's That's no way to talk, Gordon.
scolded Edward.
Besides, it's only temporary, and Boco's a fine stand-in for you.
But Gordon didn't think so. When Boco was told the news, however, he was very pleased.
A nice long run to stretch my wheels.
He sighed happily to himself.
That's just what I needed. I could use a break from Bill and Ben anyhow.
He pulled into the big station to collect his coaches. Gordon was at the other platform, grumbling dreadfully.
Slow goods. Slow goods.
Why, hello there, Gordon.
Boco chuckled.
Enjoying trucks now, are you?
Pah! I should be pulling that train.
Boco grinned.
You're not the only one who can, Gordon. Safety comes before your ego.
Boco honked his horn and started out of the station.
And don't worry, I'll try not to start a fire.
Gordon was furious. Boco had only pulled the express once before, and was excited to have a chance to go faster than usual. He seized his chance and flew down the line,
Oh, slow down, old boy.
laughed his driver.
There's plenty of time.
But Boco wanted to make his runs with the express count, so he didn't slow down. This, however, was a mistake. The intense heat was making it difficult for his engine to work properly. Boco's engine felt hot, making him anxious.
Oh dear, that can't be good.
It wasn't. Boco went for another mile before his engine started making strange sounds. At last, he decided to slow down, but by then it was too late. Boco slowed to a standstill, his engine having given out entirely, spewing small sparks.
What? Darn it.
Groaned the driver.
Now I'll have to...
He trailed off, sniffing the air.
You smell smoke?
Boco goggled in horror. A few yards from the line, a brush fire was blazing brightly.
Oh no! I can't move! Please! Call for help!
Boco's driver ran to find a telephone, and did just that. Gordon had stopped at a station to pick up more trucks, and was waiting for Duck to shunt them behind him when the station master ran up.
Boco's engine's given out, and now he's stranded with the express.
Gordon chuckled.
Serves that old whippersnapper right.
He smirked.
There's more too! He's stranded by a fire!
Continued the station master briskly.
I've phoned for the fire brigade, but they may not get there in time before the fire reaches the train.
Surely we can't go.
Protested Gordon's fireman.
What about this train?
Donald or Douglas will be along in a moment to fetch it.
But Gordon can't do heavy work. This blasted coal won't allow it.
Besides,
Added the driver.
if more sparks come from his funnel, it'll only make things worse.
The station master was about to reply, but Gordon spoke first.
No, he's right. We have to save Boco and those passengers. It's a risk that I'm willing to take.
His crew looked at each other reluctantly and nodded. The fireman reached for his shovel and started building Gordon's fire. The driver watched Gordon's controls carefully.
We'd best hurry.
Said Gordon grimly, and he raced away. The fire was spreading quickly, and the surrounding smoke was making it hard to see. Boco was becoming scared.
Someone! Please help!
He shouted. Just then, a familiar whistle blew.
Fear not, my dear engine. Help has arrived.
Gordon exclaimed, buffering up to Boco.
Not that I'm grateful, but are you sure you could pull me and all these full carriages?
Boco asked worriedly.
I'll get this train going or bust.
Boco rather hoped it wouldn't come to that. The two were coupled up, and Gordon gave a great heave. His wheels slipped and he started to wheeze, but he struggled on.
You're doing it! You're doing it!
cheered Boco as Gordon slowly but surely pulled him and the coaches clear of the fire. Just as the two were leaving, fire trucks drove onto the scene and started working to put the fire out. At the next station, Gordon had to rest, but the passengers weren't cross. They flooded out of their coaches, thanking Gordon profusely.
It was nothing, really.
Gordon wheezed.
We engines must keep our passengers safe, no matter what.
It was something,
argued Boco.
You were splendid, Gordon. I'm sorry I teased you earlier. It seems I started a fire without even trying.
Just then, Sir Topham Hatt arrived aboard Edward and climbed down.
Well done to the both of you. You were both very brave indeed. Now, I've spoken to the railway board, and they've agreed that we will get a new shipment of the old coal first thing tomorrow. Hopefully that'll stop any more sparks from my engines.
Drivers, passengers, and engines alike cheered loudly, but Gordon's whistle was the loudest of all.